Yes, people, and welcome back to another video on the Bridge YouTube channel where we bring you all things Chelsea. I'm your host with the most, the Bridge 258, here today to give you another video on Chelsea news as always. And then today, it's a big one, it's a doozy, and that is on the Premier League fixtures, which were released today at 9 AM Greenwich Mean Time. Obviously, I haven't done a regular 10-minute video in a while. I've been continuously doing the live videos, of course, as you guys have seen. But I want to give you this content quite, in a nice little video package because of the fact it's a bit of a simpler one, a bit of an easier one, and I think it's really much more of a no-brainer, right? So let's go into it. So of course, the big one, which is a part of the game week, which is part of the game news which has come out today, is this. It's that we're going to be facing Manchester City at home game week 1. If you remember last season, our first game week 1 was against Liverpool at home, which was Poch's first game, and this is Maresca's first game is going to be against Pep Guardiola, student versus the master. You know what I mean? Former assistant manager versus the manager that he was under. So again, going to be very key and interesting to see what is going to happen there at the end of the day. You look at it again, it's going to be a big fixture for Maresca for me personally, Maresca, he's got to show that he can implement his style of play from game week 1. Is he going to be able to, use his tactics and bring out the best out of the players such that they can start competing with Manchester City and beginning that top 4 race, which we're all probably expecting us to be in at the end of the day. So, can you do that from game week 1? Am I going to be able to see his tactics? Is it going to be noticeable? Can I see the start? Can I see the passes? Can I see everything? Big game week 1. And again, I will say this before, even if he loses, by the way, if I can see that he's got a competent style of play and I can see that everything's working together, I can see that something's working and we are brewing something, then again, I don't mind taking the loss in that game against Manchester City. But a draw and a win and doing that, for me, that's even a bigger green flag in my personal opinion. And I'm pretty sure many of us here would agree to that, particularly against Manchester City, who are the reigning champions at the end of the day. So you want to be making sure, we're not going to be able to get to that level this season, but the season after. So this season has to be the season where we take that next step into that top 4, into the top 4 and back to our old ways, and being able to take that next step in terms of the player level. And hopefully Maresca can do that, A, via the tactics that he brings, and B, the ways he's going to implement it with the players and bringing out the best of the players as well. Now, continuing onwards from that, I feel like we've got a medium difficulty in the first 5 games, which is in terms of difficulty we're going to be facing, and that is because after Man City at home, we then obviously have Wolves away, Crystal Palace at home, Bournemouth away, and West Ham away. Now, if you think about it, obviously it's not so much similar to the first 5 games we had last season, but this is going to be quite, again, in a lot of mid-table clubs there, a lot of very good clubs there at the end of the day. Again, obviously next game, Wolves, obviously they're always going to give us a bit of trouble, but again, we should be looking to beat them this year. If we're a serious team, if we are back to the way we used to be, and Maresca is going to be the guy to guide us that way, Wolves away has to be a win, whether we like to admit it or not. Crystal Palace at home, again, that's just another must win. We beat them twice this year. Yes, they may have, a new guy in there, but they probably will be without an Olise, possibly an Eze or a Gahi. So again, Crystal Palace at home, must win for me personally. You then go into Bournemouth. Again, these are the sort of fixtures that we have to win. You know what I mean? Last season, we didn't beat Bournemouth away, actually, if you remember. We drew against them. So again, this is the fixture where we need to be, last season we missed out on them. This season, we have to mature as a team, have to get better as a team, and hopefully the manager is going to be doing that job as well. And that's where we take the next step in making sure we beat our Bournemouths away too. Same with West Ham away. You gotta beat West Ham away. If you are a serious club, if we are trying to be well and truly be able to reach that next level that many of us here expect this team to reach, all of these first 5 games, barring Man City, we should be getting at minimum 12 points in these first 5 games. No denying that, by the way. We must be getting 12 out of 15 points. That's what it is for me personally. You then look on to the last 5 games. We've got a very hard last 5 games. Compared to last season, our last 5 games weren't that hard. This one is quite tough. You've got Everton, then Liverpool, then Newcastle, and then Man United, then Forest. Now Everton, Liverpool are going to be at home. Newcastle's going to be away. United will be at home, and then Forest will be away, which will be our last game. That will be away. But listen, we don't want to be in a scenario where we're going into those last 5 games where, you know, we are probably a few points off top 4. We don't want to be doing that, you know what I mean? Yes, it might show mentality, you know, if we're able to, in the last 5 games, you know, win all of these games and, you know, get into the top 4. For me personally, I want to be making sure by the last 5 games, we're comfortably into top 4. We're looking ahead into a Conference League final and maybe an FA Cup final. So for me personally, again, you look at those fixtures, yes, they're tough, but, you know, ideally, as a team, I don't want us to be in a situation such that we were in last season where we were fighting for, you know, a top 4 spot or top 6 spot, as we were in our case, yeah, you know, in the last 5 games of the season. You know what I mean? Where it's just going to be, you know, very stupid, not going to look good for us, and it's not going to be helpful to us at all. Now, moving on to the Christmas fixtures, which are obviously going to be very close together and tight. We've got obviously we've got Southampton away on the 4th of December. Then you've got on the 7th of December Tottenham away. Then you've got Brentford away the week after. Then you've got Everton away the week after. Then you've got Fulham on Boxing Day, and then you have Ipswich on the 29th. Again, you look at those fixtures again. Pretty much barring Tottenham and Brentford, I feel like all the other fixtures are, barring Tottenham, I should say, all the other fixtures are winnable fixtures. Again, you know, last season when we went into Christmas period, we did drop dropped a lot of silly points. I dropped a lot of stuff in that period of time. You know, at that time, I thought, you know, obviously, if you guys were able to look back at those videos, that Poch was already gone at that time. That's how poor we were personally. You look at again, these fixtures again, very simple and easy fixtures for us to be going into and trying to win those games as soon as possible in those fixtures. So again, if we're able to capitalize on this December fixture, because, you know, as usual at Chelsea, for some reason when it comes to December Nation, you know what I mean, we're just cooked. So I would not like that to be the case this season. I want us, you know, again, key word I've talked about is maturity. Are we mature enough to go through these fixtures and, you know, win all of them? Yeah, and maybe obviously get a point against Tottenham, which may obviously happen, right? But if you win all of them, you're looking at December December point haul. That's gonna be more than enough for you in, you know, if you're looking at EPL history, to be able to make sure to get that top 4 that we're looking for, the next step, as I'm calling it. You know, that's what I'm calling it, the next step. You know what I mean? If we are going through this so-called process, and a lot of people don't like to hear that, but that is obviously the case as of course, right now. Now, in regards to this, man, in regards to it, at the end of the day, it's gonna be quite tough. You're looking at those fixtures. Maresca's got a lot of stuff to look at, both look at and to deal with. But listen, you know, if Maresca is the man this season, with the way our fixtures are at, it's not as easy sailing. You know, Poch last season, he had the gift of up until basically the end of October, he didn't have to face the big side of the Liverpool from game week 1. It was only in November when he was facing a lot of the bigger teams, you could say, in the top 6. So again, Maresca, you know, he's getting it sprinkled in, you know, barring really the last 5 games where he's getting all the heavy hitters at once, right? And listen, again, you look at those fixtures, again, I'm very confident, you know, you look at those fixtures, I'm confident, you know, that hopefully the team can take the next step. My guy, Maresca, can do his job in being able to do that as well. So listen, let's move forward. Let's get cooking. And I'm very happy about it at the end of the day. So listen, we move indeed. Now, in regards to obviously anything else in regards to the fixture list, you know, nothing much really, because I think, you know, you look at it again, I'm not too, you know, I'm not too moved, to be honest. You know, again, it's not too bad. But listen, those fixture-wise, I think is pretty simple and pretty easy to do. I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, pretty simple, pretty easy for us to do, and pretty easy for us to handle. But guys, thanks again for watching. I know that less more than 50% of you are not subscribed to the channel who watched it. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe. Road to 2K here. We're trying to reach greatness. We're trying to do better. In regards to anything else today, I am planning, hopefully, to do a watch along for the 8 p.m. game, which is the Portugal game. Hopefully, we'll have that done, and that will obviously be starting 1 hour before at 7 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And as usual, with the Chelsea news, if there's any breaking news, I will be streaming automatically live. Otherwise, it will be the Chelsea news period, which we do on a live stream here every single day at 10:30. Right, 10:30. Make sure to tune in. Make sure, again, to like, share, subscribe. And listen, man, Chelsea Nation, we are out here. We are out here for sure. Ooh, One more thing, actually, just before I forget. Listen, in regards to any Chelsea news, by the way, for today, you'll probably again make sure to find it. You'll probably find out a lot of news today, probably at 5 p.m. I would say. So make sure to look out for that one too. Love and guidance, big man. Have a nice one for me, guys.